Hello, everybody. Welcome to MMA Underground with the Yankee and the Brit. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. And today we have a special guest for you. It's our boy, Jay Gottem from Streetbeefs Scrapyard. How you doing, Jay Gottem?
I'm back again. I'm all right. How about you, gentlemen?
We're excited to have you. I'm good.
Yeah, good. Fan favorite.
Appreciate you.
Fan favorite, Jay Gottem.
I know you, just to start out quick, with Streetbeefs, I know you're doing boxing and MMA, but before we get into that, you want to shout out where you train and maybe where people can find your merch?
Shout out my training group, Spartan Fitness. Shout out Training for Warriors in Olympia. It's a good gym that accepted me in. And shout out Peixotto, my sponsors. Look them up online. Premium urban gear, exclusive. Best things you can find on the streets right now. Go look them up.
All right. And everybody, I'll drop that link down below. So if you're looking for it later, it'll be in the description.
Oh, man,
I know you can't.
Right in.
Yeah, we've got Little Jay here. Little Jay got him ready to answer some questions too.
Yes, sir.
They got him. The man with the hands. Not just the hands, though. I'm going to put this out there. I watch a lot of Streetbeefs, and you, my man, have real skills. It's not just going out there. And like when Streetbeef started, it was just two dudes throwing down. I can tell you got a skill level and an MMA level, and that's what I really enjoy with watching Streetbeefs is watching how guys are getting more skilled than they were when it started, because we all know why Scarface started it, which was a beautiful idea. But now that I see that you're boxing and doing MMA, if I got this right, you're 3-0 boxing?
I'm 2-0 boxing, 3-1 MMA. Okay, so on one of those videos, they got you on 3-0 boxing on YouTube. So I was off one fight. But with the boxing, when you fought Castro, I felt bad for that guy. I ain't even gonna lie. You owned him from the beginning.
Yeah, man.
With the boxing, now, was that something you were looking into starting first, or were you into MMA first and went over and said, shit, I'll try this boxing too?
Well, when I first started, I was just my friend's sparring partner. So my base would really be boxing because, you know, every time he wants to get together, it's kind of my strength and weakness. We always train boxing. And he went amateur, golden gloves and stuff. So that's where I got my boxing base from. But what I like to do more is probably MMA because it gives you more options, more ways to use your tools on your body.
Okay. And then when you were boxing with Nano Strong, I'm not going to lie, at the beginning, when he says, I'm going to get this work in, and you're like, he's going to get this work in, but I'm going to get this work out. I don't know why, but just that confidence of that comment, I was like, oh, dude's in trouble.
And that was a good boxer. Nano Strong, shout out to Nano Strong. That dude was strong. He's hit me harder than I've got hit in a while. It made me realize, you know what? I need to go back and do some reforming because I'm getting hit too hard. This dude was quick and fast, so I got to give it to him. And yeah, I said it, and I meant it too.
Yeah, he looked like he ate some good shots from you too. So he seems to have a pretty good chin along with some power and speed.
Yeah, so I just want to hop straight into the fight with Preacher's son, if that's okay with you, Jay. With yeah, because that guy, you two had a good fight. That was a really, really good fight. And I think he just kind of, he got like, obviously it's a technical grab, but it's kind of like a lucky grab as well. Are you guys thinking of having a rematch anytime soon?
Absolutely. I've actually been in contact with them because I don't train like I'm supposed to. I'm pretty much the face of natural talent. I don't go to a gym, have a membership or anything. So everything I do or try to do, I kind of taught myself. Haven't really tried it out before. So rope pusher, great wrestler. They keep on throwing me up against wrestlers. It seems to be my test. And I passed the test a couple of times. This month, I wasn't supposed to fight. I was supposed to go coach up there. But I told Fire Chicken that if he needed me and needed a substitute, if anybody didn't show up, I'll step in. And so that's what happened this month. I can't take I can't take anything away from Preacher's son, but I can promise a better rematch.
I will say I watched that fight, and the only time you were in trouble is when you were throwing kicks.
Right.
He had great kick defense, and you had him eat some jabs that had his head snapping back. Your takedown defense was awesome. You had a great reversal in there right away. And I just think you got caught with a head and arm choke. I don't think you got, like, I hate to say it because it's a loss, but anybody who watches MMA, you got caught. I don't think you got outclassed. I don't think you got outfought, anything like that. And I think it was one of your better fights on the fact that people got to see your skill level. And I'm even more impressed now that you're telling us it's mostly self-taught, because your head kicks are scary sometimes.
I wish I could land one of them in one of these fights. But it's all fun. It's all love out there. Like, that's one thing that I didn't expect when I first went up there. My first fight when I went up to the scrapyard was Castro. I went there by myself, no coach, no corner, no anything. And I expected a bunch of trained killers working out, but it was more of a family environment. And it was so welcoming that it makes you want to come back, not even just to fight or to win, but to come see the people and come be comrades with other people who are on the same level of, competition.
Yeah, that's really awesome, because we had Fire Chicken on like a week or so ago, and he just seems like a dude who just loves fighting and is willing to give his all for scrapyard. So that's got to be a guy that you're willing to get in there and give it all for too, because you guys all seem to be doing this together. It's not Absolutely. A me thing, it's a we thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So before I get to Rope Pusher, because I want to get to that after, I wanted to talk to you quick about Milkman. And I put right here, because I'm taking notes as I rewatched your fights last night, because I wanted to make sure I didn't screw them up. But I'm watching Milkman, and before it even gets close to ending, my first thing I wrote down was, damn, bro, those kicks. Those kicks, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm even more impressed now, like you were saying you weren't training. So I wrote down head kicks, great takedown defense, that leg kicks were vicious. And then we'll get to the end of it in a minute. But, I mean, did you feel like in that fight that you had the better of him from the jump, or does it not feel like that when you're fighting?
I feel like in a fight, the only thing I'm really sensing is whether I'm in danger or in trouble. So at no point did I feel in trouble or in danger. It's just like my last fight with what's his name? Preacher's son. I didn't feel in trouble. I didn't feel in danger. I felt comfortable with my skills and where I was at, but he just caught me slipping. And I guess it's like, when you're in danger or when you're about to lose or whatever. And one thing I will say is that when the rep does say protect yourself at all times, that includes when you're about to pass out, or when you're outmatched, or when you're just getting beat up in the third round and it's time to throw that towel. And that's part of protect yourself at all time. That goes for anybody. You've seen me tap out, and it's not a bruise to my ego. It was just a competition in which both of us probably have to go to work tomorrow morning. So I'm not gonna, risk my job or whatever to try to get a win on something that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, Maddie.
That's okay. In that Milkman fight, you can kind of see the it's just a bit of a different class. Maybe like you've had a few more fights at Scrapyard, and maybe he can go to work on a few things. But you were watching it and you were like, yeah, this isn't going to last too much longer. And the way that it ended, I thought was actually a bit unfair to you, because you had him and he walked into a knee, which is like unfortunate, as obviously you can't knee guys to the head. Like, as you said, you've both got to go to work tomorrow. So that's just the way it goes down. But you had that fight, and it's a good job that they give you both a win for a draw, rather than like one of you having to take an L for that kind of like an accidental.
And also one more thing about the Milkman fight is people always remember the knockout or whatever, but they forget that he went 3 rounds. We were in the 3rd round when that happened. So it wasn't like it was just an overpowering victory where it wasn't a fair match. We we danced for 2 whole rounds.
No, the guy had a skill level. You just seemed to be over-skilling him your skill level seemed to be higher. But He was in there as a guy who wasn't just I fight on the street. You could tell he had some training to what he was doing. Right. I was just really impressed with your all-around fight in that one, though. Like I said, we got to see it more with Preacher's Son because it was like, I think that fight was on a whole different skill level than your other ones. And it was really impressive. But I know I have not seen somebody get knocked out with a knee like that since Ben Askren ate Jorge Masvidal's knee. That was brutal. That poor guy shot as you were kicking, and it was a perfect marriage knee to chin.
It's crazy. Unbelievable that that's the second time I've done that. The first time was an actual street fight.
Just go for a kick and land a knee. That is brutal.
Yeah.
The guy ducked straight into it. And then our favorite, that's obviously a great knockout. Like you watch it and you think, oh my God, is that guy going to be okay? Were you kind of worried about the guy? And oh, right. Okay. Were you kind of worried about the guy on the floor? Were you like, oh my, I've just knocked this guy out. Is he going to be okay?
I was worried about him because he was sucking his breath and it sounded like his lip was like,
yeah.
I'm like, is this guy okay? Should I celebrate or not?
It's gotta be sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's gotta be a weird feeling to know, like, yes, I just won. So all that adrenaline into the victory, and then you gotta worry about the dude you just beat.
Yeah. I wasn't worried about him until his girlfriend saw him and started screaming at him to wake up and stuff. I'm like, oh man, I feel bad.
Yeah, I see. I'm guessing that your wife or girlfriend I see in the videos get very excited with you after you win too.
Yeah, that was actually her first time coming out too, so I had to put on a show for her.
See, that's nice to have that kind of support, but do you feel weird fighting in front of them? Like, hey, if I lose this one, they gotta feel it too? Like, is that extra pressure on you?
It's not extra pressure because I feel like I'm not out here just to get the win. Okay. Like I said in the magazine, I feel like I can give anybody a tough fight. And that's what I guarantee. If you fight me, you're going to get a tough fight. I can't guarantee you a win, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to give my all in. Like after this last loss, people kind of like were feeling sorry for me, like I wasn't the same person. They're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, man, what? Why wouldn't I be? You know, I took the loss, but I've taken tougher losses in the casino. I didn't lose.
Yeah. When I reached out to you the other day, I didn't think it would affect it, but it was in the back of my head, like you coming off a rough weekend. When I reached out to you yesterday to make sure we were still going to do the video, I was like, you just never know with somebody, but you seemed in good spirits, got back to me right away. I was like, oh yeah, this dude is just in it for the competition. But it was in the back of my head, like, I wonder how he's feeling about doing this interview after the weekend he just had.
Oh man, I actually had a great weekend. It was one of the best appearances out there because this is the first time appearing when I had a sponsor. The sponsors came through and they gave me a bunch of new gear and all this stuff. I do youth mentoring, which is this is going to be our next teaching point on how to take a loss and finding your strength again. And it's constructive if you make it constructive. If you sit there and sulk and feel sorry for yourself, then you're probably not in it for the right reasons, anyways. And
it wasn't like a devastating loss or anything. It was a close fight, and the guy, like, it's not like you lost to some nobody. Like, the guy clearly knew what he was doing and is a well-trained kind of fighter, and just. The guy was a good grappler on the floor. You could hear his corner going. You could hear his corner saying, "You go to work. This is what you do best." As soon as he got you on the ground, you were like, "All right, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and he's a good fighter." It's not like you just lost to some nobody.
I actually linked up with Preacher's Son. His name is Shiloh, and he's actually going to start training me in grappling. That's what kind
very cool. What a legend. Yeah, what a legend. What a nice guy. Scrapyard just seems like more of a family vibe,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I mean, I grew up playing sports. I wrestled, I played hockey, football, but besides, and even with wrestling, even though you're out there individually, you come back to a team after the loss or the win, right? So that's where MMA is way different. I mean, I know you got the people that are around you, but you do all this on your own. So when the fight's over, win or lose, man, you're kind of on an island. So the fact is, with team sports, you almost got that taking a loss seems to almost be easier. So the fact that you do it with a smile and you just love the competition, that's absolutely awesome. And it truly shows younger people like this is what MMA is. It's all about bettering yourself and making moves forward instead of your win-loss record.
Right.
I got to get to rope pusher, though. I was holding this off till getting to the end because I know you set a new record with your guillotine choke, but he came out with that flying knee, and I was like, wow, okay, this is how we're going to start this fight. Were you shocked that he just came out with a flying knee?
I was. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, did he really? I think he did that for the girls in the crowd.
He wanted to Ben Askren you.
Yeah.
He was rushing off the ropes. He was just living up to his name. That was the game.
And sometimes you got to remember, people don't expect you to do the wild stuff. So sometimes the wild stuff will land because it's not expected. Like, I know if you watch the Preacher's Son fight, late in the first round after we heard 30 seconds left, I tried some off-the-wall kick and got punched out of the air. But if it would have landed, it would have been nice. So he's probably in his mind is like, if it would have landed, you guys wouldn't be saying this right now.
Right. But I was just wondering if you were as shocked as I was, because I did not expect that fight to start. And then you caught him in a guillotine. And I'm on the team. I told you before we started recording, I'm watching it on TV, and my wife turns around like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, dude, snoring.
Just hear the guy. It was the rustiest snore. Like, bless that guy, man.
And then I'm not going to lie, you had me laughing when you were like, wake him up, wake him up, wake him up.
And then he woke up.
Yeah, there you go. And then that ended up being 31.71 seconds, and you set a new record. How did that feel?
I didn't even know it was record, but when they told me, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm pretty sure that I've seen a faster one. I don't want to spoil any alerts, but I'm glad that I got it up there for the moment.
All right. And then I saw a picture of you holding up the magazine, and that was Overtime Hustler magazine.
Yes, sir. 1 second. I'll go get it.
No worries. Grab that.
It just came in the mail.
Oh, there you go. Look,
There it is.
Look at this.
There we go.
Yeah.
There it is. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to find a photo frame for this, for the grandkids when they get born.
How exciting is that, though? Like, because like you just said, it's something that can pass on and people can see, and you're just doing this for fun and competition, and then you do something like this. It's got to be pretty awesome.
Absolutely. I started Streetbeefs just blowing off some steam when me and my wife were in an argument, and my friend suggested, hey, maybe you need to go blow off some steam. And so that's how I originally started Streetbeefs, and this is what it's developed into. I never had dreams or aspirations of being this pro fighter and MMA extraordinary Streetbeefs legend, but it's just developing into a thing.
Is it something you're thinking about doing past Streetbeefs, or is this like, are you thinking of like sanctioned fights, or are you not even thinking that route right now?
Okay. Well, I enjoy Streetbeefs. I do like Streetbeefs and fighting for them. I am 32 years old, so I know my career isn't going to reach the potential as it would have if I would have started when I was 18. But I always have a dream and open my mouth like during boxing matches, like I can whoop that person, I could beat that person. So I do want to back up my talk and eventually fight a professional fighter, just to be like, yeah, I told you I can beat a professional fighter. Yeah,
that sounds like a really cool goal too, because I think you got enough skills. I was telling Maddie, I think you got enough skills to get past Streetbeefs and fight at another promotion. So I was just wondering if that's something you were thinking about moving forward. So yeah, that's a real cool idea to like get up and just test yourself against a couple pro fighters maybe at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys have any talks on when your next fight will be, or is that, I know you're just coming off of one, but I'm just wondering if you guys had any talks on when you'll fight next and if that'll be boxing or MMA.
What I wanted to do was go back to the drawing board. I have signed up for a gym membership, so I'm going to be getting my conditioning workouts in. I have signed up for wrestling lessons from Preacher's Son. And so I also want to get more comfortable fighting from an orthodox stance so that I can switch it up in the middle of a fight and make somebody think more about running into my power. And so I'm going to train orthodox, come back in a boxing match to see how that orthodox style works for me, and then probably hit a kickboxing and then finish it up with MMA. What I want to do is become a legend in the Street Beef Scrapyard. I want to become the first legend, but I kind of messed that up with this loss. And it takes 8 wins to become a legend and get your name on the wall. So that's how I kind of have it mapped out. 1 or 2 boxing fights, go to a kickboxing while I'm still working on my ground game, and then finish it up with a rematch to become a legend.
Very cool. And see, you got a plan. You walked us right through it. I wasn't even sure if you were thinking past Street Beefs and you had it all laid out. That was beautiful. I'm just going to get back to just Street Beefs in general. I get so excited now that I'm pushing other people towards Street Beefs because Maddie knows, and I said it before, like I just love MMA. I love combat sports. So as a fan of Street Beefs, now that more and more people are finding out in the expansion with West Coast and now Scrapyard, and we've brought this up with Fire Chicken and Big Smile and stuff, but if things keep going the way they are, would you ever be open to going to fight maybe like one of the 205s from, you know, the OG yard or the West Coast?
Absolutely. We were actually having discussions about having a boxing match with the Canadian from West Coast.
Okay.
And he wasn't ready this month, but I think we have something in the future. I think we have something. He's a good guy. I'm a good guy. We both want to test our skills. There's actually been talks about fighting, what's his name, Country Hoodlum.
From
the OG.
That's another guy I watch a lot of. He is a monster. I would definitely tune in for you two monsters to throw down.
Yes, he has all the energy in the world, and he is the epitome of his name, a Country Hoodlum. But I respect that guy. Also, I would like to try to go up, not put on weight, but I would like to try to box or fight a heavyweight.
Okay. That the boxing a heavyweight, that's a challenge that is really cool to see you embrace too, because you know as well as anybody, because you compete, the heavier they are, if they're in shape, the harder that hammer comes flying. So that's actually a really cool test. I'm telling you guys, I get so excited for watching these fights. I'll watch anything, but there's a handful of you guys like Country Hoodlum, yourself. There's that I really enjoy watching because the skill level is higher than a lot of other people you see. Now, like I told you, it's getting better and better. I know you want to fight a professional fight. I know that's something that Country Hoodlum's working towards. I think that'd be a great fight. And as Maddie and I talk to Big Smile or Shinigami, Fire Chicken, nobody's got a plan yet, but Maddie and I see that the pure evolution of this has to be all 3 of you meeting up at one time.
It's got to be
big fight card.
You've got to have a world champion belt. You've got to have the belt for all of the United States. It's got to happen.
Right. I would like to see a traveling team. Like, you know, if it's Scrapyard, we have maybe 10 guys and 1 from each weight class, and we just put them up against, you know, okay, this week is going to be Scrapyard versus West Coast. You know, we put up our fighters up against each other and see what happens. Like a tournament.
Yeah. Maddie and I see that is just going to be the natural revolution of this. But I know there hasn't been a ton of talk, so we kind of put some people on the spot because they weren't sure. But it feels to me like everybody sees at some point and nobody knows when, but it's just got to head in that direction, because to build the brand even more, just to put the best of the best from all 3 chapters would be amazing.
Right. Hey, I heard they were going to get a Streetbeefs UK.
Yeah,
we were told that also.
We were told that by Big Smile, weren't we? And I think
Fire Chicken confirmed it.
Fire Chicken confirmed it. There's definitely a kind of outpour for just fighting in the streets in London. That I think an actual street beefs kind of thing where you get people together that have actual beefs would work best in London to start out with, and then the MMA fighters kind of come in on top of that, and then everybody's just lumping the shit out of each other. You know, that'd be funny.
They need.
Berlin would be a great place for it, in my personal opinion. If you're looking for a scrapyard Europe, then Berlin is like the home of like European wrestling and stuff like that. Germany absolutely loves it; goes crazy for it. But there'd definitely be room for a street beefs in London. Definitely.
Could you see that though? You're coming like guys who love Michael Bisping, right? The Count. Guys coming from Ireland who are huge Conor McGregor fans, just going to the UK and having this street beefs. I mean, I think it'd be very cool for street beefs for the UK and MMA in general.
It's the UK for boxing. For boxing is just absolutely massive. So I can't see why it doesn't transfer to MMA, and with people like Conor McGregor as well. You know, and he'd probably show up. You know, he'd probably like endorse it. Like he'd show up like 5 years down the line and just be like, "Oh, everybody, come down! I'm signing autographs and come watch an MMA fight with just some randoms in a ring as well."
Well, drinking proper 12 whiskey.
Yeah.
Shout out proper 12 whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be getting involved in it though. Too many concussions with my time playing rugby. Nah, not for me. I couldn't take a hit like the milkman. Nah.
I joke with my wife all the time. I said, I grew up in a time in the 90s. I'm 43, where fist fighting was normal. School, parties, whatever. I said, you can't do that no more. I was like, because when I was young, you just threw down. Like now, motherfucker, rip your arm off. You have a broken knee, head kick. You know, like it's different, man. It's different than when I grew up. People know things now. You know, it ain't just the best fighter in the neighborhood is the guy whose dad was an amateur boxer and got a heavy jaw. You know what I mean? It's these people put work in now, so it's like you can't just pick a fight anymore.
Like, Chase Claypool from the Steelers getting in that fight in the bathroom is just not like, that's just stupid. Like, you know, as a professional athlete, you definitely can't be doing that. You're going to get injured.
Right. And it's crazy because some of the people that you see, even at the scrapyard, you'll be like, what is he going to do? For instance, have you watched any Gumby fights?
Yes. Yes.
Nicest looking kid in the world. But he is a 135 assassin, or however much he weighs. He's an assassin. Like, I like his fighting style and I like his humbleness, but that dude got it in him.
I'm not going to lie. I watched him fight Gash the other night. And when he came in, I looked at my wife and I said, look, it's Zach Morris's little brother. Because he's so clean cut, man. I didn't think, like, you're right, though. And then you watch him fight and you're like, I did not expect that out of you. So looks are deceiving, and we're kind of just jerks for thinking that, but that's how life is. You know what I mean? Like,
if you could have seen him walk up to the ring, you would have seen his tie-dye Crocs.
Oh, that would even been better. Like,
should have fought in the tie-dye Crocs.
Like,
started his intro in them.
Yeah.
So Jay Gottem, when did you find out you were in the magazine, and how did that feel?
Well, after the ropers, there was a lot of buzz that I didn't expect. Like, I never felt like, oh, I'm just this huge entity. I've always been Jay Gottem. Like, that's what my friends call me that. So it was nothing different to me, but to everybody else, it's like, oh, he's this big fighter. He's this big fighter. I'm like, no, I'm just me. And then you got magazines calling. People wanted to sponsor me. Like, I never had a dream of getting a sponsor by a clothing brand, but I guess I'm just riding the wave, really. Like, it's all an honor to be in a magazine, to be on this show. Is something I'm going to be able to tell my kids, their kids, their kids. You know, it's just an honor.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. So when I was talking to Fire Chicken after he was on the show, and I'm like, hey, there's some people I want to talk to from Streetbeefs, Scrapyard, but do you have any suggestions too? Because, you know, he's right up on the front line. and I had you and Gash right on the top of my list. And I am not lying to you. The list he sent me started with you and then Gash. So Fire Chicken has a lot of faith in you also, because he was somebody that he thought would be great to come on the show. Plus, he thinks you're great for Streetbeefs.
Right, right. I like Streetbeefs in the environment, and it's like, you know, they're not out to exploit you. They're not out to put you up against some extreme level of competition. Fire Chicken's pretty fair, and if you're consistent and upfront with him, he'll get you the experience that you're wanting to get from Streetbeefs. It's not like he's just going to set you up there and throw you out there to get beat on.
And anybody who doesn't, go check out the Streetbeefs Scrapyard group on Facebook, especially if you train or do anything. So anybody who's on social media knows if you're overweight and you're showing yourself punching a bag, everybody on social media is going to beat you up and call you out. Not on this site. These people will really show you love. They will give you advice if you want it, or if you don't even want advice and you just want somebody to help you get motivated. I mean, the love on that site from a bunch of straight killers is amazing, because you got straight killers, but there's none of that internet hate. It's awesome. Check it out. It's Streetbeefs Scrapyard, you guys. And I'm sure Jay Gottem can attest to that. The love that goes on that site is amazing.
Yes, sir. Actually, I just started my training group, Spartan Fitness, off of stragglers from Streetbeefs. They're from my area. They don't train with anybody, just like I don't train with anybody. So we just get together. We don't have a gym. We just get together, spar, do some running, practice technique. We probably need a coach, but that's what type of group it is. If you're a Lone Ranger, you're always welcome to the group. If you don't have a gym, you're always welcome to come train with somebody. Like, it's not just me. It's basically everybody in that group that is willing to lend a hand. And if you reach out, like I reached out to Preacher's son, hey man, I want to learn from you. You that learn, some stuff that I don't. I want to learn from you. And he welcomed me into his gym. He's not going to be there today, but his coach is. He gave me access to his coach. It's a lot of love shown in the group.
That's a beautiful thing, because most people look at MMA if they're not fans. And I'm sure you've heard the dumb crap too. Oh, it's human cockfighting. It's this, it's that, it's whatever.
Absolutely.
It's not, though. Like, there's so much love in the MMA world. And I know people see the Conor Khabib stuff, but that's business. That's money. There's
right.
Millions of dollars involved. So that's a whole different ball game. But with all of you guys and the smaller promotion, it just seems like it's just love all the way around. And I find it a beautiful thing. And I find it, if more people would know about that, they would look at MMA differently.
It's funny to me, too, that you say that, because I noticed in the environment, the level of respect goes up because everybody is a threat. You're not going to have somebody that's, not about what they're talking about. We're all fighters and we all can back it up. So you would think that there would be arguments and quarrels, but it's not. It's another level of respect that, he's held accountable for what he says, or else you can get into the ring.
That's a good point, too. So, Maddie, anything else for Mr. Jay Gottem before we don't take up the rest of his day?
And that's everything from me. Just been an absolute pleasure, Jay.
And my pleasure. I appreciate you guys taking your time and finding interest in me. Shout out to OTH Magazine. Shout out to the Scrapyard. Shout out to Fire Chicken. Shout out to UFC MMA Underground. And shout out to the sponsors, Peixotto, and my lovely, beautiful wife. Can't forget her. Last but not least.
Very cool. And thank you so very much. And Jay Gottem, I'm going to hit you back up sometime. Hopefully you'll have some time to come back on the show. Love talking with you. And I think you are going to be a great ambassador for Scrapyard. And I just see great things coming. So, thank you so much for your time. And you have a great day.
Hopefully next time we talk, I'll be a Streetbeefs legend.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We bags you first exclusive interview after you become a legend, buddy. That's that deal.
You got it. It's yours.
All right. Well, thank you so very much again for coming on. Nothing but respect for you guys. And thank you for entertaining us with your own, you put your own self in physical harm. I know it's for your own competition, but it's also for our entertainment, and we really appreciate what you guys do.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the love, and it's all good. That's what I'm here for. Put on a show. It's Jay Gottem. I'm back again.
So wake them up, wake them up, wake them up.
Wake them up, wake them up, wake them up.
All right. Well, thank you again. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. Have a good day. Deuces.
Good day.
Cheerio.